This is John Ward, welcoming you to another presentation of Tennessee football on home video. The story you're about to see unfold is one of adventure and achievement. It's the story of teamwork, commitment, and the will to win.
Doesn't need a lot of... Oh! He took a weapon!
Welcome back to the Blue Chip Breakdown, Vols fans. I'm your host, Bull, and this is P. Today, we are here to talk about, what looks like it's already started off to be a monumental weekend for this football team, man. It's been such a journey. You know what I mean? There's been so many ups and downs. I know a whole lot of us are just like, man, I wonder when we're going to get somebody inside of this transfer portal. We're losing everybody. You know, we keep on hearing about guys coming back, guys are going to stay. And it's finally happening now.
Yeah, it's finally happening, man. It seemed like hype on his bunch for playing chess, or everybody's playing checkers, kind of playing the long game. And, that's kind of been our theme with hype the whole way, is just be patient. This staff seems to always have a plan. Just got to kind of wait and kind of see that thing play out. But, pleased to obviously get a big commitment this weekend. Yeah,
for sure. So before we even get to that, we have got to talk about Cooper Mays officially coming out and announcing that he will be back next season. I'm sure everyone has heard about that, by now. But, obviously that's such a huge deal for this football team in so many ways, on so many levels. It looks like we're going to have both fronts back completely, like all of our starters. I'll say outside of maybe Tyler Barron and then Ollie Lane, we're going to have everybody else back, and you get, you put all of that experience together with Nico, with all the, young pieces that we've got on that offense. I think that the offense can take a huge step forward. We'll talk more about how the offensive line looks right now in just a second, but we also have to talk about Holden Stays, right? So he is the tight end from Notre Dame. And we kind of came into this whole thing like, okay, Ethan Davis, right? And really, we said this weeks ago. Ethan Davis is our only real scholarship tight end that's going to be coming back next season. And we're sitting here thinking and wondering, who are we going to go out there and get? There was a couple of guys that we had missed on. And, obviously, for us to be able to pick up Holden Stays, it looked like right there towards the end that he might have been trying to pick Georgia. Georgia comes in there late. But, thank God, that he definitely picked us. And that's, I think that's a huge pickup.
It's huge, man. I think with Georgia, I don't know if it was because they already have, I think, 2 5-star tight ends that Connor Delp, his name is Oscar Delp. And then the other guy,
somebody else.
Yeah, his dad's an NFL guy. I forget his name, but I think he's a 5-star. So maybe he, too much competition, or maybe he just doesn't like Georgia. Maybe that's the deal. But he's a huge pickup, man. 6'4", 245. You love his tape. You love his film. Yeah. It shows great hands. They didn't really use him a ton in the pass game, but it shows great hands. But you love his blocking ability. He's exactly a prototypical guy that we're looking for. You see him in his film, exactly the stuff we do. That split zone, tight ends pulling across, kicking out that edge guy. He does that beautifully. Fits up on his guy well, drives through the whistle, gets good movement. I think he's going to be a huge pickup for us. And, probably similar. We'll probably see a similar split as we saw this past season with Jacob Warren and Castles, yeah. Probably pretty much 50-50, him and Ethan Davis. I think Says is going to kind of be the number one guy.
Really?
I do.
Do you think he's going to be number one over Ethan Davis?
I do, just because he's bigger, he's stronger, he's got more experience.
I don't know if he's bigger, though.
I think Ethan Davis is what, like 235?
Well, so I think that Ethan Davis at this point,
he's taller. I think he's
6'5". He's 6'5". I think that they're probably very similar in size.
Okay,
I think that Ethan Davis is probably a better athlete. Yeah, and both of them are from the A. And I was kind of listening to what Holden was saying. Whenever he was talking to, I think it was Austin Price, but he was just saying like, I knew Ethan Davis, because obviously, we're both from the same city, coming up. So he said that was a factor for him, and then he also kind of talked about how. Coach Abe was like, man, thank you so much for, trusting in me. Yeah. And I know that there were so many of us just talking about, is Coach Abe the issue? Is that why we're losing tight ends? Because we lost Jonathan Eccles. And is that why, we're not able to pick one up? So I'm very, very happy for Coach Abe, for this staff, and for Holden Stays. And he had last season, let me take a look at my notes. He had 15 catches, 176 yards, 4 touchdowns. And that was 11.7 yards per catch. His best game was versus NC State, where he got 4 catches, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he was averaging, about almost 30 yards per catch. So he can definitely do it. And Pete, just like you said, man, he blocks well. I also think that if you look at our tight ends, it just seems like, however we coach them to block, I think that we probably have some of the best blocking tight ends. And that's since Heupel has been here in the entire country. They always do such a phenomenal job of teaching how to block. So, what we saw from Holden on film, just expect for that to increase, as he kind of gets more opportunity and, more run with this staff. Now, I also wanted to talk about, the production from the tight end position from 2022 to 2023. And as you can see from this graphic, it increased a lot in 2023, but we also kind of feel like the offense took a step backwards in 2023. But we know that Coach Heupel wants to use his tight ends in a very, very heavy way. P, just kind of taking a glance at those numbers. Is anything that kind of like stands out to you? Is there any rhyme or reason as to why you think that the production has been increasing, and do you think that it will continue to increase with Stays and with Ethan Davis?
I mean, my first thought when I see the increased production is because of the lack of receivers.
Yeah.
So tight ends had to be a bigger factor. It's kind of my first thought. But I feel like also, Castles was a little bit more dynamic as playmaker. And I think Jacob Warren took some steps too. I feel like those guys got better. I felt like we tried to go to the tight ends in 2022. I thought Percy Fant had a lot of drops.
Yeah.
We did use him a lot of Swiss Army knife. He had some big plays, but he also had a lot of drops. So I think the tight ends are more consistent catching the ball. But also with the lack of production from receivers, we kind of had to go to a tight end. But I am very excited to see having two athletic guys at tight end that we can kind of swap in interchangeably. The formations that we might see, kind of the different wrinkles we're going to see. Because now, if you look at the offense, let's just assume, for argument's sake, that we got Brew McCoy coming back. Maybe we got Squirrel White in the slot. Maybe we got Mike Matthews on the other side. Okay, and now all of a sudden you have a tight end in the middle. Who are you going to guard? And then we got guys like Cam Selton and Dylan Sampson come out of the backfield who we can get involved in the pass game as well. So I think the offense is going to continue to expand, and we'll continue to use tight ends a lot, I think, especially with Nico. I think he'll get those. And, him and Ethan Davis already have a great kind of rapport. He likes to find him a lot. So I expect tight ends to continue to be heavily used going into next season.
Yeah, for sure. And so I'm trying to get to y'all's chats. It's for some reason it's not showing up inside of our software. So I'm having to switch screens so that I can see them. But we're going to work on getting that figured out. But yeah, I think that you bring up some very, very valid points. And, it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to happen, for the rest of this, for the rest of the transfer portal season. And we'll talk more about who we think that we're going to target here in just a minute. But I also want to talk about, what the offensive line is going to look like with Cooper Mays coming back and with everybody else. Because, like I said, we've got everybody is coming back. So this right here is how the offensive line is, probably going to look. Now, some of these guys may be in different positions. Like William Satterwhite is a true freshman that's coming in. I think that he's going to play center, but, who knows? Maybe they move him over at guard. I love his film. Yeah. And then, there's a couple of other guys. There was one or two that I didn't know for sure if they would be back. But everything that we've been hearing is that everyone that could return is going to. And, it looks like we've got a good amount of depth. Especially at tackle. We've got 40% of the players on our offensive line are seniors. So that's almost half of the guys. It's a very veteran, led group. And then under that, it's not a whole lot of in-between. Well, maybe it is a little bit of some kind of like in-between guys. Whole lot of red shirts. I think that we're going to be fine. But my biggest thing that I take out of this, P, and, you can chime in wherever you want to at, I think that what we're going to see, obviously, is that we've got all these vets, that are going to be the guys. And I think that they're going to be able to teach some of these younger players, hey, this is the way, you can learn from where we went wrong here, where things went right at here. And I think there's going to be a big competition between these younger guys to fight for those depth spots. And I think that that's going to make them really, really good once they do get their opportunities, at some point in 2024 or moving forward in 2025.
Yeah, I do too, man. I kind of like the mix we have. Obviously, the seventh-year senior John Campbell, a lot of the older guys, a lot of fifth, sixth-year guys. And then the young guys coming in, guys like Bennett Warren, Max Anderson, Umarov.
Sham.
Yeah, these guys, they know that, they're going to be kind of depth pieces next season. But once those seniors leave, they're going to be the guy. And so it's going to kind of create an urgency for those guys to develop and get ready to go. And hopefully they can develop, man. Hopefully Glenn Ellerby can get these guys going.
Yeah.
But I agree with you about Satterwhite, man. He's a guy that can probably play all five positions. I think center is probably his most natural fit.
Yeah.
But, you got to kind of see how Bison Lang develops because, we like him a lot too. So, you kind of like the depth we're starting to develop here. Hopefully we can add a few more guys. Hopefully we can go get the guy for 2025. that left that.
Oh yeah,
dang,
what's his name? Sanders or something?
Yeah, I think it's Sanders. Yeah,
yeah.
Or it's Collins or Sanders. Sanders.
I think his last name might be Sanders. I think it's something like Sanders Jr.
Let's continue to stockpile that cupboard. So I'm feeling good about where we're sitting right now.
Yeah, for sure. I think that we're going to be just fine. And also, man, some really, really big news that we did get, or we got a visit from Jalen Farmer. Okay, so
that's huge.
He's a guy that, I mean, this is his high school film right here. But he was a 3-star coming out of high school, goes down to Florida. And P, you said that you saw him playing some kind of like in some mop-up duty. But I think that he could potentially maybe plug in right there at left guard. If not, at least he's creating some he's gonna spark it up. So I'm looking at him versus, I would say like Andre.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think about who else do you think can maybe Aiden Bustle.
Yeah, Bustle.
Aiden Bustle is a guy who I think could probably fit into that guard spot. Yeah,
everybody's been sleeping on him. We've been talking about him on the show, but you guys are gonna see. I mean, I think he factors in next year as well.
Yeah,
but I mean, you love Farmer, man. Like I said, I watched him against Vandy. If you're interested to see him play college ball, he played. I think like 5 minutes left in the Vandy game. He checks in at right guard, number 52. And I mean, he looks good. Now it's against Vandy, but that's the SC team.
Oh yeah,
but you can see his technique. I mean, he looks like he come here and could help us next season. I think it'll be an upgrade over anybody that we've seen play that position for us so far this season. So hopefully we get him. Sound like his visit went well. Yeah, and would not be surprised if by the end of the weekend he's ready to commit and sign on down the line.
Yeah. So coming off of the visit with us, he is visiting Kentucky next. So it sounds like it's going to come down between us two, and he wants to choose a school here very, very quickly. So P, to your point, something will probably come out in the next week or two with him, but obviously that would be really, really big. Yeah. It's kind of thinking back to the graphic that we just saw. I think we've only got maybe 6 or 7 guards right now, and that is including the true freshmen. So that is definitely a spot where we need to get deeper at, and just kind of like watching him in high school, y'all can see what type of player he is. And P, just like I said, he definitely will bring something. He will bring something to the mix. Now, somebody else that I wanted to talk about. Okay, so we're still talking about offense right here. Okay, we're going to talk about another offensive player, right? Because we talked about tight ends, and what it sounds like right now is, it sounds like with Holden Stays coming in, it sounds like Jordan Dingle is going to go back to Kentucky. So, I was hoping that maybe we could have got 2 guys in the portal, because we talked about it. Ethan Davis is kind of injury prone, and you want to have somebody else. Typically, Coach Heupel is playing 2, a little bit of 3 tight ends in a season, but he hasn't really had to deal with any injuries, at least since he's been at Tennessee at tight end that I can think of. So saying all that just to say, it would have been good for us to get in one more veteran at tight end, but we are also hosting this young man right here, and Mr. Harrison. What's his first name is Cole, I believe. It's Cole Harrison. But let me make sure I got that right. But yeah, I mean, he is an absolute and total. I think that he is underrated for sure.
Where's he at? He's from what, California?
Yeah, he's from San Mateo, I believe, California. Somebody down in the comments was saying earlier, on one of the other videos, that he's probably rated as a 3-star because his competition level, like the league that he's playing in, isn't that great. But I'm looking at it, and they don't look terrible. I mean, they don't look that bad.
Yeah, I mean, they play pretty good ball out there in California. I know it's a huge state, but I mean, you got to imagine he's playing against some good guys. He looks good. I mean, what you're looking at on this film, you obviously want to see his competition good. If it's not, okay, well, let's see, things like that. That's a transferable skill. You go up and hype on the ball, and go up and hype on the ball. Okay, now it's going to be an adjustment getting to college, playing against guys that are more athletic than you, right, or at least as athletic as you. So you got to be able to compete against guys that can compete with you. But he has the skill set, he has the tools, and just doesn't have the right mindset to be able to translate it to the next level. And only time will tell with that. But hopefully we can add him, because like you said, man, Ethan Davis is pretty injury prone. I mean, that's not I don't put it on him, but he's had a history of getting injured every single season for the past 2-3 years, going back to high school. So hopefully he can stay healthy. But if he doesn't, who would be the next guy? You know what I mean?
That's the question. And yeah, I mean, that's exactly what the question is. Now, whenever you're watching this film, he looks really good, but he does look like a guy that probably needs at least a year, I would say, in the college weight room, in the college program in general. He's going to have to learn our scheme, system, all that type of stuff. But he does definitely look like, once he figures it out, once he puts on that weight, gets stronger, that he is going to be a very good player. Something else that I loved about him is that he's very willing to block. Actually, I think on this play right here, boom. Nice. You see that? He's got that willingness, and you can tell that, he kind of puts me in the mind of Callie Castles back when, he was probably at this age. That's kind of what I see him growing into. And maybe he can be a little bit better. Who knows? But, P, like you said, hopefully he's got the correct mindset coming into this thing. And, again, he runs beautiful routes. And, again, he catches with his hands, uses his body well. There's a lot of stuff for you to like about his film. But, again, we are hosting him this weekend, and I'm hoping to get some really good news. I think that the battle is between us and Washington State. So we should be able to beat Washington State unless he wants to stay out west, which maybe he does. Who knows? But obviously, Washington State versus Tennessee, it's a gigantic increase in everything.
What conference is Washington State in next year?
That's a great question. I don't know if they're going to be going to the Big 12 or if they're just going away.
Or everybody from Pac-12 is not going to the Big 10, is going to the
Big 12, or I don't know what some of the other guys are going. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I have no idea. But I'm sure that they're going to end up landing somewhere. So it's turning into now, it's turning into a Power 4 conferences. So, I'm sure that they should end up in one of those 4 conferences. But, I think that their quarterback is transferring out. Maybe that's the reason he's transferring out. I think the coach maybe got hired somewhere else. I don't know. I don't keep up with all those types of teams. I'm more focused on our volunteers and what matters to us. Yeah. Those guys really don't, they play no bearing on what we have going on. So, that is him. Now, some other big news is that it sounds like the true freshmen, that are going to be at bowl practices are actually practicing today. And P, I don't know if it was like this for you, but it seems like whenever I first got to school, it's almost like as soon as I got there, it's like the coach wanted to see us run around and do, what I'm saying? Like, go through drills and stuff. Did y'all have to do that too?
It seemed like it was like that. You pretty much get there, you drop your bags off.
And and then you got to go straight to the field.
Hurry up and get your little t-shirt and shorts on. And got there, running around, doing stuff.
Yep.
So, they want to see you. They're filling you up, shaking your hand, filling you up, see how you are. So, Boo and Marcus Gurry, they look good in that little interview. They look like they're ready to get there.
Yeah, man. Shoot, Boo looks jacked. I was watching some of that film that you was talking about. I think it was Bradley Central versus Oakland. So, I got to see Boo Carter playing safety more. I was looking for more of his senior film. And I do like his willingness to get in on plays.
He's aggressive.
And, he was missing a whole lot of tackles. He was. But I'm kind of setting it all up just to say, whenever I had watched his junior film, him playing safety, it was like, there's a lot. I was like, well, he's kind of hesitant to come up. Watching him this season, he's coming up. Okay, but he's just not finishing. If he gets, like another year, maybe a couple of months, and he learns how to close on those tackles, he could actually be a force playing safety. Yeah. And I had just kind of said, well, I don't know if he can do it. I think he's going to have to go to offense, or he's going to play corner or play star. And, I still kind of feel more strongly about him playing one of those 2 positions. But who's to say what's going to happen? Boo Carter is a phenomenal athlete. Like you said, Marcus Gorey Jr., he looks like he's going to be a good safety, coming up here shortly. And then we have some other guys. I know that Kellen Lindstrom is he's also out there. Jordan Ross is out there.
Is Staley out there? And
Staley's out there.
Mike Matthews out there.
Yeah.
So the guys are getting on campus, or they're getting up there. They're getting the work in, and man, it would be nice to be able to get a peek of those guys in the bowl game. But
I'm trying to tell you,
obviously they're not going to be ready yet. But we'll show up to see them. Maybe we'll see them on the sideline. But man, super excited about the future, man. I think we got some studs coming in this class, and also from last year's class too. I think those guys are going to develop and help us out next season. So super duper excited, man. And shouts out to this staff for kind of identifying Boo Carter as a DB prospect. Obviously very electric on offense and special teams, but being able to have the foresight, because like you said, you watch his junior film, you don't see a ton of defensive stuff, but having the foresight to kind of see that he has the tool set to be good on defense. And like I said, you go watch his film, he's flying down the hill, he's aggressive. Just needs a little more work and just a little more refining on his technique. But I think he'll be a star for us and has a chance to come here and impact us next season as a true freshman.
Yeah, for sure. So let me just kind of finish up with the list of the players that are on campus, just for those of y'all who would like to know. We've got Jake Merklinger, who is the 4-star quarterback. He's from South Georgia. Talk with some of y'all about him, and it sounds like everyone really likes him. I most definitely do like him, especially listening to him speak, kind of hearing like what his mindset is. I think that he's a really good fit. I think that his personality with Nico's, I think that they're going to fit together well. And I think that they're going to kind of feed off of one another. And, I think that, moving forward, he's going to be a really, really good player. Peyton Lewis, that's the running back. P was talking about he's breaking a whole bunch of records. I say he looks a whole lot like Arian Foster. He's just that real, he's got that same type of size. He's real smooth, just great balance, just everything that you want in a running back. Yeah. He literally is almost like a NFL prototype. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like he is everything that you want. Really looking forward to seeing him. We already talked about Boo Carter, Marcus Gordon Jr. We talked about Mike Matthews, talked about Braylon Staley, who there's been a whole lot of buzz about him. We'll talk more about them here in just a minute. Kellen Lindstrom, Jordan Ross. Who am I missing? Okay, offensive lineman. William Satterwhite, Jesse Perry, Max Anderson, and Gage Ginther. So, and there might be some more, but those are the ones that I know about. So, hopefully we'll hear something about them here shortly. I'll kind of be checking around to see if there's any notes so we can talk about it. And then also, too, I am trying to flip back and forth and see y'all's comments. I'm trying to find a way to get them posted up here on the screen, but it's not working out too well right now. But we will get it figured out at some point. So the next thing that I want to take a look at, right, is some more guys that are visiting this weekend, because we're asking ourselves, who else does Tennessee need to pick up in this transfer portal? I already talked about we're definitely going to need another offensive lineman. We've got Jalen Farmer, probably sounds very positive for Tennessee, but also on defense, we need to try to find somebody that can replace Tyler Barron, not necessarily his production, but just somebody who can kind of do what he did. We don't really have that real body, at least not a veteran body like that on this roster. Well, I guess we got Dominic Bailey and then we got Tyree West. So, I mean,
Dominic Bailey, I just like his lack of arm size. You know what I mean? To me,
what do you mean, like size, or do you mean like length?
Size, both, really, both. I mean, he doesn't have, not to talk bad about the kid. I think he's a guy who plays hard. Good kid, chose Tennessee, so I respect the heck out of him for that. But I mean, if you're going to tell me that he's going to be our starter, I say, well, we got a huge concern there. You know what I mean? So you hope Tyree Wesby can step up, and you hope that we can get somebody out of the portal. They can come in here and help, because I mean, losing Tyler Barron's production. People aren't talking enough about it. That's huge. He was. We've talked about it a lot. I mean, in my opinion, he's probably the best player on that defense last season or this past season. So, we got to figure out something for him. And I don't know who really got in the pipeline, but we have to figure something out, because he's going to be missed. That's for sure. Oh,
for sure. And so I saw some clips of Wallace, and that is the defensive end. We talked about him yesterday. He is from Sierra College, 6'4". Listed on 24/7 Sports is like 270. I think he's listed at the same weight somewhere else. But what you said, like he has listed on his Twitter at 285.
Yeah, he says it's 6'4", 285.
So if he's there, what that tells me is I was thinking at first maybe we want to get him to kind of play that in position, but now I'm thinking maybe we want him to play tackle. Yeah, maybe we want him to bulk up just a little bit more and put him in at tackle. Because just from watching his film, honestly speaking, I wasn't super blown away. By what he was doing. I mean, the competition level of what he's playing up against is not great, but but if you slide him in at tackle, now all of a sudden you've really got something special.
Yeah, he might do something there.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I mean, he doesn't really show you a ton on film. He looks a little slow off the ball. Yeah. Not the fastest guy, but he is like aggressive, and he does play hard. Mm-hmm. He will lay the wood on you. So I mean, there's things I like. He has some intangibles that you kind of like. Maybe he's a guy that they would like to have in that room. Yeah. But as far as, a quality body, I mean, only time will tell, when he gets up to campus. Yeah.
So, I mean, now he has not committed to Tennessee yet. We are just just anticipating that he will. So it's between us and I think South Florida right now. So, I mean, we should be in good standing. And we've been talking. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna say the reason I really think he committed is, he's really active on Twitter, and he's been pretty vocal that Tennessee's his dream school. Yeah, and he visits us. He's visiting us this weekend. And then like his like 2 tweets ago, he tweeted something like on Rock Top this weekend, go Big Orange. And then I think it was this morning, he tweeted out just an emoji. It was a pin, which made me think he's signing.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Well, so to me, I don't know. I think maybe he's committing, but I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent call. So that's probably what's going on. So that is good news because again, just talking about that defensive line, we do need some help. For sure, we're going to need some depth, but I think more specifically, we need to get some younger depth at defensive tackle. And he would, we're kind of speculating that maybe he could be a guy that they try to move to tackle, especially he's going to have 2 more years left. Somebody else that I really, really like, is Murad Watson. All right, so this is the guy from Jersey. He's going to be coming in the 2024 class. He is visiting Tennessee today. But listen, whenever you watch his film, Okay, I don't care what he's rated, if he has 0 stars or if he has 50. Watch this young man's film. He is a baller. Okay, he's exactly what you want at defensive tackle. Not only can he stop the run, okay, like look at his body, right? So he's 6'3", probably about 290. Look at that swim move off the ball.
That's some Ndamukong Suh-esque.
Yes. Oh my God, that is beautiful, dude. Like having big men that can move like that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So right now it's between us and Syracuse. We've talked about this before as well, but he's from Jersey, so does he want to get away from that snow? He probably does. And Syracuse has a long, rich history, but they have not been very relevant lately. So I think that we've got a good chance at it. It sounds like he really likes Tennessee. I kind of want to keep this quiet, guys. So don't go out on social media posting this guy, because I'm hoping that he keeps on flying under. Listen, as soon as some other coaches see his film, they're gonna want to offer him. Like, this is a guy that everyone in the country is gonna want to get it on for sure. I just don't think too many people have seen his senior film. And I would not be surprised if, he has more offers since last time we had heard him speak.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I don't know if he just blew up, his senior year, like if he just was nothing his junior year, but is this senior film? This junior?
Yeah, senior film.
Okay. I mean, I don't know, but this kid, he's unbelievable. So
yeah,
like you said, hopefully we can sneak him across the finish line and get him signed because everybody's gonna come calling for him. He's a baller. Yeah,
absolutely. There's no doubt. So I'm hoping that this weekend is a really, really big weekend. And we just talked about a few of the guys that, we would love to be able to have. But there are still, I think, some concerns and some needs for this football team. And in particular in that secondary. Now, I think that, P, well, you tell me if I'm wrong here, but I feel very comfortable about our cornerbacks. I really like Ricky Gibson. I really like Jordan Matthews. I think that both of those two guys could play corner. I like Christian Conyers too. I like Caleb Beasley, who's going to be coming in as a true freshman. Like I talked about earlier, I like Boot Carter playing there too, potentially. So I think that we're good, and we've got some young depth. We've got some guys that could play more man-to-man coverage, some guys that it seems like their football IQ is really high. So, I don't think that it'll be as much of as steep of a curve for them to kind of like learn how to get in and play. So I'm not too concerned there, but how do you feel about cornerback right now?
I feel good about the talent in that room. The only thing is, you feel good about Ricky Gibson, but you haven't really seen Jordan Matthews, haven't seen Christian Conyers in game action. So hopefully we'll get to see that in the bowl game. But on paper, I feel great about them. I feel confident, and I'm excited that they now have a chance to play.
Yeah.
You just hope that when they do play, that they're not a disappointment and let you down. But cornerback is just like person in a position. You're gonna kind of get in there, take your lumps. But once you see a couple things, a couple times, see a couple route patterns and a couple concepts and the way receivers are setting you up, you'll just get more comfortable and get them slow down. You'll get better and better. So I'm excited to see them. But I do think we probably do need to add a more proven guy from the portal, maybe the guy from Oregon State or something like that. Like, let's add somebody in here that we feel very confident in. But the only issue with doing that is, there's a guy like Jordan Matthews, Christian Conyers, do they want to jump ship if you bring in somebody clearly you're bringing in to start over them? Because you pretty much assume Ricky Gibson is locking down one side. So, you have to be careful with the transfer portal. You don't want to over-recruit your guys that you expect to be there, for 3-4 more years. But, overall, the talent in that room, I think, is really probably the best we've had in a long time.
Yeah. So, I really like that you're talking about Mr. McCoy from Oregon State. Man, so I think right now it's between – I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it's going to come down – no, it's us, and I think it's Texas A&M. He's from Texas. But it does sound like his visit went really well. He visited us last week. Really, really like his film. Now, I did see – I think I was watching some film yesterday with our nephew Bray, and he was watching a guy – was it the guy from LSU? It was somebody. Anyway, I saw him kind of getting beat on film. But, again, he's a freshman. And, from everything that I've seen, he looks like he can be a very, very good, solid football player here in the SEC. So, it'll be interesting. Obviously, he's got offers from everybody. So he's doing something right. But it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But I think I'm just more concerned about the star position and safety. So we talked about Trey Jones, who's the safety from Central Michigan, 6'2", 215 pounds, who is going to replace T-Mac at 6'2", 220. Talked about those bodies don't grow on trees. How are we going to find it? And, it sounds like Tennessee may have found it, but I thought that maybe we was going to get that safety from Middle Tennessee State, and he committed to Oregon State.
Yeah.
So now, what do you think about Trey Jones? Do you think he's more of a safety, or do you think he's more of
I mean,
Starkly.
It's a tough call. I mean, you like him kind of more at the stars because that's kind of like a linebacker.
Yeah.
At the same time, you do got to play a lot of man coverage there from that position too. But I mean, T-Mac was able to do it. Very similar body type. So yeah, I'd probably say he would be better at star. I mean, he's a physical guy. Gets downhill. When we talk about this, he could pretty much play linebacker. So I mean, hopefully we get him. I'm not sure who all he's really looking at, but I mean, I definitely am high on him. And to me, I think he's a must get. We got to get somebody like that in this class.
Yeah. So I brought him up because I don't know if he is visiting today, but I think that he is. So, you know, I don't have the full list of everyone visiting, but I think that he's probably on that list of visitors. Since we offered him, I saw that he got offers from Florida, Texas A&M. And there was another, I think it was LSU. So, you know, we have kind of been identifying these players early on. So I will give our, you know, staff and analysts and, you know, whoever it is out here finding these players, I give them a whole lot of credit for finding these guys, finding some underrated guys. But Trey Jones for sure is a guy that I would love to have. I'm wondering if we move him to star, can we move Jordan Thomas to safety, or do you think Jordan Thomas is going to be better at star? And then what about Christian Charles? Yeah. You know, what about Christian Harrison? You know what I'm saying?
I was asking about him too. Yeah, that's the thing. We have a lot of guys that you would like to kind of see this. You know, I want to see this guy. That's why I wish we would have played more guys because we want to see what they look like. You know?
Yeah.
And let's see what this guy can give you. Because, you know, Boo Carter factors into it as well. I mean,
Boo Carter for sure. Yeah.
To me, you know, there's almost two types of stars that you look for. Okay. You know, when you're talking about star, talking about the nickelback, you know, you kind of the Boo Carter body type. That's kind of that scat slot receiver type of body. And then you have your big linebacker types. And so Boo's kind of, you know, that more slot cover guy, but can also come downhill and is aggressive in the run game. And then a guy like Trey Jones, Jordan Thomas, those are your bigger linebacker body types. So, you know, I don't know, man. We got a lot of options. No one that has necessarily run away with it yet. So we'll kind of see, man. That's what, you know, camp's going to be for, and spring ball, and hopefully this staff rotates and really identifies the best 4 or best 5 to go out there and lead us. So
yeah, for sure. So what do you think? Do you think that would be it as far as the players that we need to target? Because there is one more position that I'm thinking of. I'm curious if you're thinking about it too.
Well, I mean, you know. Hopefully we get the left guard. You know, hopefully we get we already got tight end. I think we're good there. I think we're good on D-line. I think we're good at backer too, safety. I mean, the only other thing, I mean, depending on what Brew does, do you want to add another receiver or not? I mean,
there it is.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you think about the guy from Tulane, or
man. So Chris Brazel, I think maybe that's how you say his name, but
freaking. Also, Price keeps saying he's 6'3". He's at least 6'5".
Yeah. Well, so you know what? That's the thing, is that he is listed at 6'3" in some places, also listed at 6'5" some places. But now Austin Price has seen him in person.
Oh, because that's what the film says. He's 6'5".
Yeah. I mean, and he looks 6'5" on film. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's how he looks. But I don't care if he's 6'3" or if he's 6'5". He's long. He is explosive. He's a guy, you know, I talk about. He is explosive when he walks. You can just tell, just pop, pop, pop. I mean. He's his muscles are firing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, they are firing all the time.
Like Hava says, he's twitched up.
Super twitched up. Yeah. So I would love to be able to get him. I think that that's something that this offense missed out on this past season. We talked about it earlier. That's why the tight end production went up as much as it did. And you know, listen, Nico's going to need these guys. So I mean, obviously, we're really happy to have the tight ends because those guys, you know, mostly will be in the middle of the football field, or they're going to be out in the flats. Like they're always going to be in the quarterback's like line of sight, always, right? You know what I'm saying? Like they're always right there for him. So it's good to have 2 good guys, but we're going to need some playmakers on the outside to so the offense operates the way that it is supposed to. We have to be able to run the football, and we did a great job of that last season. The season before that, we ran the football well, but we also were more afraid of our passing game, and you know, so that's why it went from, hey, Tennessee's passing game is great. Then it goes to, well, Tennessee's passing game is not that great, but their running game is just out of this world. Part of that is because of the way that teams are going to have to play us. So with our running game being as strong as it was last season, I think that it's going to be a lot more heavy with teams trying to stop Tennessee's run game. And then, you know, we've got Dylan Sampson, who this is going to be his first year starting. We've got Cam Selden. It's only going to be his, second year in college football. And then I think probably Peyton Lewis and maybe Bishop would probably be fighting for that 3 and 4 spot. Okay, you've also got Keith. But I'm just saying there's a whole lot of youth there. So I just don't think that our running game is going to necessarily be as productive as what it was this past season. So it's going to be very important to get some playmakers on the outside. And it sounds like Chris is visiting Coach Prom and all them right now. It sounds like we are the two front runners right now for his services. And I actually really like our odds right now.
Yeah, I do too, man. I mean, obviously going head to head with Dion, is always tough because he's, heck, he walks to your living room, he has a way with words and he has that confidence and swagger. So kids gravitate towards that. A lot of these kids kind of hero growing up, or at least they're, their dad's hero growing up. But yeah, man, I'll love to have this guy. I think even if Brew does come back, because something we learned this past season is we need more bodies at receiver. And even though we typically only want to play 3, hopefully Heupel will open it up. Let's put more guys in there. We saw this season that we didn't go up tempo as much, right? So that means, hey, we're slowing it down. Let's go and make some subs, swap some guys in and out, give everybody a chance because you got Brew, you got Squirrel, you got Matthews, Staley, you got Thornton, you got Webb, Nimrod. You add this guy. Let's see if we can get all these guys kind of rotating in and having some opportunities to make plays because I think they can all play. And we also get about Nathan Laycock too, so he's another guy. Man. We talk about recruiting over guys. You want him to get a chance because we feel really good about his potential. Yeah. But will he ever get a chance to play? That's going to be a thing.
I mean, he's going to have to get a big opportunity. And you know what? I would not be surprised if he plays in this bowl game. I just think that this entire season, there's so many things that I feel like the staff is learning from. And, playing younger players, I think, is definitely one of them. And also making sure that we're closing on positions of need early is another one of them. What we've got to do, and this is what college coaches do, right? They'll send out some offers, okay? Some of them, the guys cannot commit to those offers. They're just kind of, hey, it's out here just in case this other guy, just because we can't get this guy, we're going to want you. I think that we need to, maybe broaden out the offers that we send out that players can actually commit to because, you've got to, all right, so like, let's say, if you feel like you need one tight end in next year's class, and I'm just talking, I'm just throwing something out there. If you think that you need one, why not just take 2? You know what I'm saying? Like take you one that, is kind of a borderline guy, get him in early. And then, if the other guy comes, let's not get to the position that we got to this season where, we're trying to scramble at the end and we think it's going to end up working out for us. But my goodness, dude.
This staff, they have to do a better job of managing the entire roster.
Yeah.
I don't know how big of a deal the little scholarship deal is. I know we're like 3 guys under. You wouldn't think that would make or break it, but maybe it does. So I don't know. It's got to do a better job managing it.
Yeah. And so you know what? How much longer do we have for that? Do you know? I wish I could. I
want to say it's. I forget. I want to say it's like whatever number it is. It's like we got to do like 3 a year for 4 years. Like it's a number, and we can meet it however we want. We can do it all this year if we want to. Something like that.
Right. Okay, I got you. And then too, so something else, just kind of like on a tangent, but. If that new transfer portal, that new like NIL, it's not NIL, but whatever that thing is now, where the schools can actually start to pay those players. If that happens, and then if Tennessee does do it, then all of a sudden we can get as many scholarships as we want because you can make your own rules on that. So that will be very beneficial. And I think that they're actually going to be meeting next month to talk about that. I'm sure that all the big boys are going to vote in favor of that. Okay, so that's probably going to get passed, and there'll probably be a couple of things tweaked here and there with the rules. But that will be something that once it's implemented, and I don't know how long it'll take. Maybe something that you can implement in 2025. Tennessee can escape that little penalty. You see what I'm saying? Like, wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, that'd be clever. That would be great. But so, yeah, I think that Tennessee has to do a much better job of, like you said, Pete, managing our roster. We definitely need to. I think that we need to go out and get another wide receiver. And if we can't go out and get this guy who we want, then, let's dumb down the freaking offense so that the younger guys can play. Because it shouldn't be that complicated that we can't at least get them out on the field. We've got some difference makers. Like you said, in last year's class and then in this upcoming class that's coming in now. We got to let these guys play because Nico's going to need them. But I feel very, very confident. So you have seen our schedule because I want to talk about this too. You have seen our schedule. What do you think about, what do you think the floor is? What do you think the ceiling is looking at that schedule?
The ceiling for me is always undefeated season. So whatever that is, I'm being 15-0. I think we'll win them all. Floor, you look at, obviously, we talk about this. I think we're the only team that has Bama and Georgia on the schedule.
Yep.
Okay. So, look at, those 2 being losses. Heck, we could go out there and lose to Florida. Florida could, take a step. We could lose those guys. Who else is on that schedule? We got Freaking Arkansas, we should be able to beat them. We got Kentucky on there, I believe.
We got Mississippi State.
Mississippi State's on there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we should beat those teams. So, I mean, I think the floor to me is what? We got Oklahoma. So we say
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, Bama, Georgia, Florida. I mean, 4. I'd say the same as this year would be the floor, 8-4.
You know what?
That's the floor.
Yeah.
That's the floor.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you finish. So what do you think? All right, so the ceiling is obviously 15-0.
15-0 national championship.
All right, so this is my whole thing. People are, I guess rightfully so. It's like we've got this thing about Florida where it's like, dang man, like we can't really count that as a win because it's true. And in years past, we've been a much more talented team. Like this season, we're way better than Florida. If we played them 10 times, I mean, we would beat them 9. I mean, and that we lost to them the one time that we would have lost. And, obviously we weren't playing at full strength, but I don't even think that that's a good, like we should still be able to beat that Florida team, with second and third. Well, maybe not all the way across the board, but without Cooper Mays, right? I think that we should have been able to beat them. Yeah. I think that next season we're going to get over that hump. It's something about Nico that strikes me as a player that takes your team to that next level. Mm-hmm. And I think that he can do that for us. I think that, with us bringing back this offensive line, all these vets, we've got some weapons. We're trying to go out and get him some more weapons. But I think that he's the guy that can, even if his offensive line wasn't great, I think that he can still, be very, very productive. He's just a playmaker. He's a baller. We haven't seen him play much in college, but it's just something about him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's just got that it factor all day long. So I think that we're going to blow Florida out. I mean, and that game is at home. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's our, 5th game, 5th or 6th game, something like that? Yeah,
it's later than usual.
So, I have it that the toughest game or so NC State is going to be kind of an iffy.
That's known. So maybe you could say 8-5. I haven't seen him telling them. So maybe.
Well, it sounds like they've lost a lot of. Yeah, it sounds like they've lost a lot of players to the transfer portal. It sounds like they've lost a lot. Yeah. So I don't know, but that could kind of be a little bit of an iffy game. It's going to be. Nico's first real road game. Okay, now it's going to be in Charlotte. It is versus an ACC team. It's not going to be that hostile, but it's still going to be pretty hostile. So anyway, I'm saying all that just to say I think that NC State. I think Tennessee wins at Oklahoma. I think that's going to be a tough one, but I think Tennessee pulls it off. Tennessee 5 or 6-0 coming into that Florida game at Neyland is going to be rocking. I mean, just imagine what them vibes is going to feel like for all those players. I mean, think about those those guys that came back, those COVID seniors now coming back, running through that tee with tears in their eyes. Dude, this is the last time that we're going to get to play Florida for sure. Are you kidding me? I mean, just imagine. I think that there are so many positives to having these veterans coming back, but especially that Florida game. I think that not only are we going to beat Florida, I think that we're going to beat them down. And I think that it's going to change, our thought process and our mindset playing up against Florida moving forward. And I think that it's going to turn to an expectation for us to beat them. Mm-hmm. Now, Alabama and Georgia, that's going to be tough, and I said that kind of feel like Georgia might have 2 to 3 losses, before they see us, because they've got a tough schedule. They've got Alabama early, they've got Texas early, then they've got a good Ole Miss team. I can see them losing all of them.
Yeah, that's a 4 or 5 losses. They might not make the playoffs,
dude. Oh, God, yeah.
No, I don't playoff.
I don't think that. Hey, listen. Y'all gonna call me crazy. I don't think Georgia makes the playoffs again the next season. Yeah. I think they're on a very downward spiral. But let me finish with this thought. I think that going down to Athens, their fans are going to be, like they're going to feel like Georgia's going to lose. The players have to hear it all week. It's on every single radio station, every single news outlet. They're hearing it on campus. The teachers are talking about it. Everyone, it's just going to bleed into them. So I think that we could go down there and beat Georgia. Okay, I feel very confident in that. Now, Alabama's going to be a very, very tall task. But again, it's at home. We've got Nico. Neyland's going to be rocking. I could see us going undefeated, man. I mean, and now listen, I'm not saying that that's what I'm necessarily predicting, but I'm saying that I can see it happening if everything comes together perfectly. I can see it. And even if we lose 2 games, I still think that we make it into the playoffs. And if we have to see Georgia or Alabama, I don't think that we'll lose to either of them twice. Or Oklahoma, we'll just say, hypothetically speaking.
And that has to, that's a good point too. That has to play into our favor. I mean, if let's just say we do lose, probably the 2 that a lot of people expect us to lose, Georgia and Bama. Yeah. If those are 2 losses and maybe they're competitive games, I mean, that's got to look good to the committee. That's probably the top 2 teams in the country. Mm-hmm. I mean, heck, you know what I mean? Like, we lost to those 2 teams. I mean, we still have to be kind of right there, first team getting in.
Yeah,
in my opinion, if that were to happen. But I mean, like I said, I see us beating those guys. I'm not sure who Bama's got a quarterback, if they still got Milroe.
Oh, yeah.
He's back again?
Yeah.
Wow. So
he's back.
He's been there for a long time, seems like. But
yeah, it does kind of seem like it. But I think he's a sophomore right now.
Sophomore, wow.
I think. I could be wrong. I think he's something like that. So,
yeah, I mean, that's I saw it as a tough one. Saban's always a tough game, but feel good about having so many seniors on both sides of the line of scrimmage. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to come down to that secondary really locking in. Keenan Peely staying healthy, and then those young linebackers stepping up, taking the next step. And, of course, Nico doing what he does, and, you know, the receivers stepping up and making catches, growing up this season.
Yeah.
And, man, I mean, I think the sky's the limit. We could be even better than 2021 or 2022, in my opinion.
I think so, too. And then, you know, we're going to try to wrap it up here because I keep on trying to figure out how to get to y'all's how to get y'all's comments up, but it's definitely tough. Yeah, I mean, we can try to. I can't barely see him, so I'm not even gonna mess with it because I don't want to butcher what.
This guy said Florida game is game of the year. I missed who it was.
Florida game's game of the year.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like kind of like you were saying, it's really a tone setter for the season. Or you know, we will have had some other games, but I think going to beat in Florida. You know, Oklahoma's SEC team now, but you know, as far as traditional SEC, I think that kicks off our traditional SEC schedule. Yeah,
man. Look, I don't know, dude. I'm gonna tell you something. That Oklahoma game, that's gonna be a big one for us because obviously, you know, I mean, Heupel played there. You know, Heupel played there. Heupel coached there. I mean, and then we have to go there. Yeah. And then, you know, it's going to be a really big deal. Obviously, with them coming from the Big 12 to the SEC, they're going to want to show and prove.
Yeah.
Their fans are going to want to do it. You know, the players want to do it. Their coaching staff wants to do it. And they want to prove it.
They freaking came to Neyland a couple years ago, and we were killing those guys.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they come back, and, you know, and then a lot of their players talk about that was the loudest environment they've ever been in. And said the ground was shaking and stuff like that.
Yeah, so they're going to try to outdo that, too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, those fans, they you know, fans know about that type of stuff. So they're going to want to try to outdo Neyland, which you just can't do. But they're going to try it. And, you know, I would say this, you know, that's probably, I mean, man, there's so many tests for Nico early on. We're going to know right out the gate, dude.
But I'm so excited. He's a calm, cool, and collected guy.
Yeah, oh my God.
He's kind of like Snoop Dogg. He's just always cool, you know what I mean?
That's that West Coast, man.
Yeah.
That's that Southern California in him.
That case of Clausen.
Yeah, oh man, all day long. And you know, I think he's gonna have a much I think that he's gonna break all of Hendon Hooker's records. I think he's gonna break all of Tennessee's passing records. I just think that, you know, there's so many good things that you like about him. But yeah, I think that Nico's gonna ball out in that game. You know, he strikes me as the type of a guy that wants to do it for the coach. Like, he understands how much it means, and not just for the coach, but, you know, for his teammates, for his family. He wants to do something to, you know, make them proud. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just,
it's not about him, you know?
Right? Yeah, it's not about him first. And, you know, he's going to put this team on his back if he has to. But I don't think that he will. I just think he's going to ball out in that game. I'm going to go. I'm going to, you know, this is going to be a really, really high take. But I'm going to go ahead and predict Nico for 450 plus versus Oklahoma.
Wow.
You know, 450 plus.
Total.
Yeah. 450 plus.
Man, I can see that.
I think, for sure.
Heck, throwing to Brazel and Drew and Mike Matthews. Heck yeah.
Braylon Staley, Squirrel.
What's the tight end we just got? Stays.
Oh, yeah, Stays.
I mean, come on, Ethan Davis.
Dude, come on, man.
Backfield. Come on.
Shoot, throw it out there to daggum Dylan Sampson.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Come on.
You know, Cam Selden. Throw it out there to him. You know, I mean, so I think he's gonna, he's gonna do great. But there was a point to me saying all that, and talking about
Nico just kind of being calm, cool, and collected guy, not crumbling under pressure, because Oklahoma game is gonna be a big game. Yeah. So the Oklahoma game, that's gonna be huge. But I was just kind of saying all that just to say, I'm pretty much just what I just said. You know what I'm saying? Like, Nico is gonna be a baller. But I was going somewhere else with it, but I completely and totally forgot. So what do you think about this Iowa game, though? Like, what do you, because I know that we kind of, I think we talked about something. What do you think, like, what do you see as far as how much does Nico play? I think that maybe that's where I was going with. How much does Nico play? How much do these true freshmen play? Because that's something that we haven't talked about much, you know, together on this. Yeah. You know, I don't know about Nico. I mean, Brent Hubb seems to think that
Milton's going to play.
Yeah,
Milton is going to play.
So, I mean, if he's going to play, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to still try to rotate Nico in. I mean, I wish they would.
I think that you have to.
Yeah, I mean, he needs those reps. You know, he needs those live reps. So hopefully he gets to play. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. The staff we've seen kind of through their coaching tenure here at Tennessee, they don't seem to like to play young guys. Like they'll ride with the starters like until the game is completely over. You know what I mean? So I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully they switch up. Why you think they're gonna let them play?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they really have much of a choice. I mean, like you've got to let them play some. I mean, unless it's just too close of a game. But yeah. I mean, I think that it is going to be a situation where it could be some alternating series. Yeah. And there's so many people that seem to think that Tennessee's going to struggle in this game. If Tennessee struggles in this game, and I don't know who else is going to be playing, especially on that front, but if we struggle throwing the football on this team, I mean. You don't want to say somebody needs to be fired, but somebody needs to be punished. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, something needs to happen. There's just no excuse, dude. Like, if you watch them play, and we've watched film on them, I mean, there would just be no real excuse. Now, it's going to start off close early, but, all games do. But, we are going to pull away at some point. And, I would expect that at some point we're going to have to see Nico. I feel like we're going to see, like I said, Nathan. I think I think that we're going to see him, and I think we're going to see who else is a freshman that we're probably going to see. Obviously, we're going to see a whole lot of Cam Seldon.
I'm kind of going to say it'll be a first row look to see Dylan Sampson as the guy
as
for a full
the starter,
game, and then Seldon mixing in. Maybe we'll see a little bit of Khalif Keith too.
Yeah.
But I don't really know about the O line. Who's our left guard? Oh, Ollie Lane, he's still there. Yeah.
Yep.
He's still there. He didn't opt out. And then so the tackles are playing. Both tackles are going to be playing. I'm assuming.
To my knowledge, yeah.
And unless they're hurt, is Sprague still hurt? Or is he back?
I think the Spragues is still hurt. I think that he might be hurt. I mean, I don't want to throw it. I want to say that it was like up until the spring. I feel like that's what I heard. Wow. And if I'm wrong, y'all just let me know down in the comment section. I have to switch screens to be able to see it. But so I think that he's probably going to be out. So we have to find somebody to play that right guard. I mean, I guess maybe you put Andrej Carrick in. But I mean, shoot, let's put Aiden Bustle in. I mean, I know that. Yeah. I mean, let's just put him out there. I mean, he looks good.
He looks
physically.
Great.
Yeah,
he
like
like a stud.
Yeah, we was watching. It was a clip of him and it was him and Sham. They were standing kind of close to each other. Man, Aiden looks like he's gained. I don't know, P. I mean, what'd you say? About 15, 20
He
pounds?
looks like he is a solid, what'd you say? 6'5", 300. I mean, I don't know.
I would say
350s, but I know it's not that big, but he is huge.
Yeah, he's jacked, and you can tell like his legs are big too. He looks like he's got to be a solid. I would say 315 to 320.
Sure. I mean, if you tried to pierce a sword through his body, it wouldn't even make the side. You know what I mean? Like, he is solid.
Yeah, he's built like a daggone tree. So. Yeah. I would love to see him get some playing time. I'd love to see all these freshmen get some playing time. And
of course, we're going to see the corners. We'll see a lot of Ricky Gibson.
Jordan Matthews is going to have to play. I mean, I guess Turntine might be one of the starting safeties. Something else that we have not talked about, but we might get to some more next week, is that Wesley Walker is a guy that we are anticipating will transfer out, but he won't be able to transfer out until that spring portal opens up because he has to graduate first. So, he's probably going to be a guy who leaves. So the question is, will he play in this game or does he say, I'm just going to opt out and I'm not going to practice or do nothing because I'm about to leave? And then we have to see guys like Turntine and some of these other younger guys.
So who you think the starting secondary is? Assuming Wesley Walker's not playing. So assuming he's not playing. And of course, Slaughter's not playing.
So Tank is still playing. Okay. I mean, I would assume that Tank's going to play.
Yeah.
So Tank's going to play. And then we've got, I guess maybe you put Turntine. I would like to see John Slaughter back there, though.
I would too.
I would personally. But the thing about that is, if you do that, maybe Turntine tries to transfer out because now you can transfer twice. So maybe he tries to transfer out in spring. Wouldn't be a huge loss of my, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, but but those would be the safeties, I think. Yeah. And then at the star position, maybe Jordan Thomas. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was the one who was kind of playing there.
Him and Will Brooks?
I was going to say, I think that Will Brooks is going to definitely get some playing time too. And you know what? This is a game that the secondary is not going to get a whole lot of work. They are going to get some, but I mean, they're more going to be coming up and trying to stop runs and stuff.
That's true.
Stop some tight ends and stuff like that. And so, I mean, they should look really, really good in this game. Let's just come up. Let's just play fast.
I will say this too. You got to imagine Iowa knows that too. So maybe they do have a couple of little wrinkles to attack the young secondary.
Yeah.
But I mean, they don't really have the athletes to really.
No, well, so you know what? It's funny because as I'm doing my daily research, I came across an article. It was from like some Iowa website, like one of their sports websites, but they were talking about Tennessee secondary being decimated. So that is a talking point for them, for their fan base, and maybe they do feel like they can throw the ball on us. I cannot imagine that they sincerely believe that though, because I mean, you was not able to pass the ball all season. Why do you think you're all of a sudden going to be able to do it versus a team that's used to teams passing the ball on them? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, if they're thinking that the guys we have starting were just like by far our best guys, because like us as fans, we know, like, I mean, yeah, those guys started, but I mean, we like kind of like the guys behind them a little bit better. You know, we like Ricky Gibson, we like Jordan Matthews, we like Christian Kine, you know, we like John Slaughter. We kind of like the guys behind them a little better than the guys that we had up front. So, you know, we'll see. Obviously, losing Wesley Walker is huge. Losing T-Mac is huge. Those are probably the two biggest losses, maybe on the whole team.
Yeah.
Besides Tyler Barron, you know, but he's right there in that conversation. But and we should be fine.
Yeah, and it sounds like Tyler Barron might be going to Alabama. A lot of people are like, oh, he's not going to be able to play there. Dude, Tyler Barron was a good football player. He can play at Alabama. Like people just there's so many people that just look down on our players so much, and they just don't realize that our starters are as good as anybody else's starters. You know what I'm saying? Like our starters can be starters at almost any other team. You know what I'm saying? If they're not one, then they're, you know, maybe two, right? But we've got really good players. The thing about these other teams is they just have more depth, and we're working on building that. And it also sounds like Slaughter is going to Arkansas. That sounds like that was a money move. It sounds like Tyler Barron is a money move. And then I think probably the rest of those guys is more of guys that we pushed out. But, you know, overall, though, y'all, I feel like we did a very good job. We've been doing a good job in this portal so far of, you know, making some room, trimming some fat so that we can get in so that we can upgrade in certain places, so that we can get younger in certain places. It's almost like an NFL roster now. You've got to look at it that way. You got to look at it long term, and, you know, how can you win now with also being able to kind of set a foundation for your future. And I feel like Coach Heupel has done a phenomenal job of that. Well, maybe not phenomenal, but he's done a good job, and I think he's going to get a lot better at it moving forward. So overall, there's a lot to like. Again, there's going to be a whole lot of news coming out this weekend. It's a really, really big weekend. If you happen to be on campus at any point, you know, if you see anybody, you know, see any of our players, any guys visiting, you know, make sure that you give them the absolute best that you can for Vol Nation. And of course, y'all will. And also, you know, it's really big news that Jordan Ross is on campus, because I was just about to say, I was just about to say, make sure that we're reaching out to all of these younger guys. And I was going to say, especially Jordan Ross, but let's just reach out to all the guys that have not came on campus yet. Show them the love so we can finish strong. And, you know, again, it's going to be a really, really big weekend. We're going to get in some good players. Expect some more news. We're going to have another video coming out here in the next couple of days. But as always, we appreciate y'all for tuning in, for locking in with us. And we are very, very sorry that for some reason the comment thing didn't work. So we was not able to get y'all's comments posted. But thank y'all so much for chiming in. And we will catch y'all on the next one. Thanks. Peace. Oh, hey, and then also make sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends and family. All right, thanks. Peace.